Today, we're going to try and crack open one of the most prophetic and, let's be real, one of the most puzzling books of the 20th century, Marshall McLuhan's Understanding Media. This is a guy who basically saw our electric, interconnected future way before it ever happened, and his ideas, well, they're more important right now than they've ever been.
All right, let's just dive right in with a question that really gets to the heart of everything McLuhan was talking about. He wants us to stop obsessing over the picture and start looking at the frame. You know, the technology that's actually delivering the picture to you. Because for him, that is where the real story is.
And here it is, the big one. You've definitely heard this phrase before, but it is so famously misunderstood. It's not that the content doesn't matter at all, but what McLuhan was getting at is that there's something way more powerful, way more profound, happening just under the surface.
So what did he actually mean by that? Let's break it down, because if you can get your head around this one single phrase, you've basically got the key to unlocking all of his work.
Here's the deal. McLuhan argued that the real message of any technology, or what he called a medium, is the way it changes the very scale and pattern of our lives. We get totally hung up on the little details, the TV show, the article, the tweet, but the deep, lasting change comes from the television itself, or the printing press, or the internet.
McLuhan's family example makes this crystal clear. The electric light. I mean, think about it. It's a medium with literally zero content. It doesn't say anything, and yet its message was total transformation. It let factories run 24/7, it created nightlife, it completely changed how we sleep. The medium itself was the message.
This led him to this fantastic analogy. He said, the content is just a distraction. It's like the juicy steak a burglar throws to the watchdog. While our minds are busy chewing on the steak, arguing about the plot of the movie or the angle of the news story, the real burglar, the medium, is quietly sneaking in and rewiring our entire house, our senses, our society, everything.
To really get this, McLuhan takes us way back in time to a world before print took over, an era he called the tribal world. Before writing was a big thing, humanity lived in an acoustic space. Just think about that for a second. Sound comes at you from all directions, all at once. It's totally immersive. Experience was collective, it was shared through the spoken word, face-to-face in the tribe. The ear was king. And then an invention came along that just shattered that acoustic world. It was an explosion of information, something McLuhan famously called the Gutenberg explosion.
The printing press, it took the rich, messy, all-at-once world of sound and flattened it out. It broke it down into neat, tidy, repeatable letters on a line. This was a massive shift. It put the eye in charge of all the senses and forced us into a brand new way of thinking. Linear, sequential, one thing after another.
And the consequences of this were just enormous. Think about it. Reading is a private, solo activity. It helped create the modern individual. And the ability to print thousands of identical texts in a single language, well, that created uniform languages and centralized states. It literally gave birth to the idea of nationalism. A single technology reshaped the whole of society.
Now, to help classify these different effects on our senses, McLuhan came up with his famous idea of hot and cool media. A medium like print is hot. And by hot, he meant it's high definition, it's packed with data, it spells everything out for you, and it doesn't leave much for your brain to fill in. It extends one sense, in this case the eye, with incredible intensity.
But just when this mechanical age of print and fragmentation was at its absolute peak, a new force started pulling everything back together again: electricity.
And here is his other blockbuster idea. Electric media. The telegraph, the radio, they didn't care about physical distance. All of a sudden, information could zap across the planet instantly, collapsing space and time and tangling everybody back up together in what he's so perfectly called the global village.
McLuhan saw this as almost a biological change. It's like we had extended our central nervous systems outside of our bodies and wrapped them around the entire planet. This wasn't another explosion outward, it was an implosion, a forcing inward, where we are all suddenly, deeply, and instantly involved in each other's business, whether we want to be or not.
This new, deeply participatory age was driven by a completely different kind of media, the opposite of hot. McLuhan called them cool media. A cool medium is low definition. It gives you less information and actually forces your senses to get in there and do the work to fill in the gaps. This chart really lays it out perfectly. A hot medium like a movie gives you a sharp, complete picture. But a cool medium like old-school television, with its fuzzy, mosaic-like screen, Your brain has to actively work to connect the dots and complete the image. A telephone call is cool because you have to imagine all the facial expressions and body language. You have to participate.
But here's the catch. These incredibly powerful extensions of ourselves don't just empower us. McLuhan warned that they also numb us, changing us in ways that we almost never see happening.
He had this brilliant reinterpretation of the myth of Narcissus. He said Narcissus wasn't in love with himself. No, he was mesmerized by an extension of himself, his reflection in the water, and he became totally numb to the real world around him. The word Narcissus, you see, comes from the same Greek root as narcosis, which means numbness. Our technologies are our reflections. We become so fascinated by them that we go numb to what they're actually doing to us.
And you can see this absolutely everywhere. The car extends our feet, making us feel like superheroes. But it numbs us to the actual experience of walking and the human scale of our own communities. Television involves all our senses in this deep way, but it can numb us to the very real difference between a live event and a televised one. We grab the power of the extension without even realizing what part of ourselves we've had to amputate to get it.
Which brings us to the final, really challenging question that McLuhan leaves us with. As we keep building more and more powerful extensions of our own senses, are we really the ones in charge? Are we the masters of our tools? Or have we become the sleepwalking servants of the very technologies we created? Now that's something to think about.